Hey there, I'm Sheryl Goodwin Magiera, your go-to guide for life's messy and magical moments. As a farm girl turned single mom, I often wondered what life would look like after my kids were grown. Turns out, it was all about rediscovering and loving myself first. On this podcast, we'll dive into topics that touch the soul, like love, loss, triumphs, and setbacks. So grab your favorite drink and buckle up. Welcome to the Imperfectly Charming Podcast. Welcome to Imperfectly Charming, the podcast that celebrates life's milestones and the stories behind them. Today's episode, titled Chuck's Party Wagon, is in celebration of my son Andrew and his wife Crystal's 6th wedding anniversary, where the original story was written that included using my dad's prized hay wagon as transportation to the after party. Chuck's Party Wagon takes us on a journey through family legacy, transformation, and celebration. Back in the early 80s, my dad purchased what would become his prized hay wagon, originally intended for farm work. After years of service and a period of retirement in the barn, this wagon was given a new lease on life through a family project that transformed it into a vibrant part of my son's wedding celebration. Today, we'll dive into how this humble hay wagon became a symbol of joy and the centerpiece of our family gatherings, embodying the spirit of creativity and the bonds that tie us together. Join me as we explore the transformation of an ordinary farm tool into Chuck's Party Wagon and how it carried not just the bridal party, but a legacy of love and dedication. Let's go. Back in the early 80s, my dad purchased 3 sets of running gear to be used for either grain or hay wagons. One of these was converted into what would become his prized hay wagon. Over the years, it was used when putting up straw from winter wheat, but once he sold the dairy cows, would lend it to friends that ultimately didn't care for it like he would. After years of wear, he decided he would tuck it away for safekeeping. Up until about 5 or 6 years ago, it was only used for storage in a corner of the barn. He decided it was time to rebuild the floor and spruce it up. Once built, it would remain as furniture storage, but it was shiny and new, and his prized hay wagon stood tall and sturdy. I'm a little fuzzy on the details how the next part of the story goes, but my son Andrew and brother Jeff started dreaming about revamping the wagon and using it in a whole new light for my son's upcoming wedding. They dreamed of using the wagon to transport wedding guests from the reception to the after party, and poof, just like that, the idea was born. They also needed a tractor to pull the wagon, which is how Andrew became the new owner of the 1948 John Deere A he purchased from my brother. They not only had the wagon to get ready, they also had the A to get running in tip-top shape. And so the project began. Even though my dad rebuilt the floor of the wagon, there was a lot of work to make it wedding-worthy and safe for hauling guests. The number of hours and dollars that went into both the wagon and tractor are probably too many to count, but the joy each of them experienced showed on their faces and the excitement in their voices each time they spoke and planned about the prized hay wagon. They wanted the wagon to be safe for the passengers and added sturdy sides, was well lit for traffic, and completely awesome with rope lighting, fold-down staircase, temporary sound system, and handmade metal and wood signage that gave honor to my dad's name. To make the ride comfortable for the passengers, hay bales and assorted blankets lined the wagon. Using the wagon and tractor on the road was no easy feat. Andrew had to coordinate with the city, mayor, local police, and the wedding venue. Eventually, the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, and the A-OK was given. Woo to the who. I hadn't seen the completed wagon until the morning of the wedding. As I pulled into the venue, it was positioned on the hill in front of the big oak tree and river directly behind. Tears immediately fell, my throat closed, and I couldn't utter a word. The John Deere A and prized hay wagon stood majestic against the blue summer sky, pillowy white clouds, green grass, and tall oaks. Even though my dad would only be with us in spirit, I could feel him all around and knew the lifelong farmer would be proud of his son and grandson. The wedding and reception were both happy and wonderful. The day was heartfelt and personal, but it couldn't have ended more perfectly than having Chuck's Party Wagon carry the bride and groom, wedding party, parents, and friends away from the venue, along the country roads and through the town. The ride itself was a celebration, and I wouldn't have missed it for anything, and I'm pretty sure neither would Chuck. As a P.S., the next day, pictures of the wagon ride aftermath were hilarious. A good time was had by all. It was decided the family would continue the tradition and host a yearly hayride around the farm in honor of Chuck and his prized hay wagon. As I conclude the heartwarming journey with today's episode of Chuck's Party Wagon, I hope you felt the love and legacy that a simple hay wagon can carry. From its early days on the farm to its shining moment under the big oak tree at a family wedding, this wagon not only transported guests, but also carried a family's heritage and dreams. The transformation of the wagon and the 1948 John Deere A wasn't just about refurbishing old equipment. It was about honoring memories and crafting new ones. The tears and joy it brought on my son's wedding day and the continuation of its journey in annual hayrides are a testament to the power of family, tradition, and the magic that happens when we invest love and creativity into something meaningful. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. May it inspire you to find and cherish the party wagons in your own life. Those simple things that can bring immense joy and celebration to your most cherished moments. Until next time, keep celebrating, keep honoring your legacies, and remember, sometimes the most ordinary things can be transformed into the extraordinary. And happy anniversary to Andrew and Crystal. Love you both. See you soon. If you love this episode, you won't want to miss my free workbook, 7 Simple Ways to Elevate Your Life. Head over to the imperfectlycharming.com website to snag your copy. And hey, if this podcast resonated with you, do me a favor, like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And until we meet again, shine on, friends.